The Geely Coolray is one of the best-selling crossovers in the last few months. It surprised a lot of people, including me, that it was able to outperform a lot of the more popular Japanese car brands. So in this video, we'll try to see why it's so popular and why it's selling so well.
It's been 2 years since the Coolray was launched, and I've seen the automotive landscape change drastically since then. Crossovers prior to the Coolray were either really expensive or really bare. The Coolray bridged that gap. It offered premium features at a price that was once considered low budget for crossovers. It forced the competition to step up, and now the features that we get on the Coolray are becoming standard on a lot of modern crossovers. The Coolray sold very well, and I don't think it's just because it offered excellent value for money. As a keen observer in our local automotive scene, I have compiled a list of possible reasons why I think the Coolray is selling very well. Let's start with number 1.
I think one of the reasons why it's selling so well is that it looks good. It has that cool factor that will appeal to younger demographics. The front looks sporty, it looks aggressive. You get these LED headlamps with LED daytime running lights. The bumper is aggressively styled. You have this aggressive front lip. It comes with these 18-inch wheels, which make it look more premium and more sporty. Yeah, you get this spoiler, you get a rear diffuser, quad exhaust tips. It looks aggressive, but it doesn't look cheesy. It just looks like a cool car.
I think almost every crossover in this segment looks hip and stylish, but the Coolray looks just a bit more aggressive and sporty. I think it's the kind of design that would appeal to a younger demographic.
Another reason why I think the Geely Coolray is so popular is because the interior looks so good. I mean, check this out.
The first time that I saw this, I was blown away. It had that wow factor that was lacking in a lot of Japanese crossovers. It looked like it belonged to a more expensive European car brand. You had a lot of these metallic looking surfaces, you had leather, you had almost everything a soft touch. It had a two-tone color scheme, which looked sporty and youthful. It's not just better than any Japanese subcompact crossover back in 2019, it felt like it was in a different class. Now in 2021, it has a lot more competition, but I think it's still within the top 3 in its segment in terms of interior quality. For comparison, this is what the Coolray was competing against in the under 1.2 billion peso category back in 2019. When the Coolray was launched back in 2019, it was the most impressive tech demo that I had seen on any car that's not a European car brand. It had this large, high-resolution screen, which was at the time the biggest in this price bracket. It had a 360 camera, which you could rotate. And I think at that time, this was the only car that had that feature. It also had automatic parking. It could park itself, which is ridiculous for a car that sells for 1.19 million pesos. And on top of that, it had premium features like power adjustable seats, LED lights all around with daytime running lights, which at the time was a rarity for budget cars. Now, 2 years later, it's still technically very impressive. Perhaps it's not as high-tech as the Ford Territory, but I think it's still at a close second place. Back in 2018, 2019, crossovers weren't really a thing. They were either selling at really high prices. The Hyundai Tucson and the Toyota RAV4 were selling at 1.8 to 2.2 million pesos, almost the same as a 7-seater diesel SUV. And Filipinos would always prefer diesel SUVs over 5-seater gasoline crossovers if they were selling at the same price. So either they're really expensive or they're affordable, but they're also basic. When the Coolray launched at 1.19 million pesos, it made a lot of crossovers feel obsolete. Not only was it more affordable, but it was better than a lot of crossovers that were selling for 1.8 to 2.2 million pesos. Its pricing was disruptive. It made the competition step up, and now we have a lot more options in the 1.2 to 1.4 million peso category. There's now the Ford Territory, the Chery Tiggo 7 Pro, but the Geely Coolray was the first to offer this level of refinement at this price bracket.
Okay, let's go. Oh yeah. So the Geely Coolray might be one of the fastest, if not the fastest crossover that you can buy at this price. It has a 177 horsepower engine.
You know how some vehicles try to look sporty, but under the hood they have like 90 horsepower? The Coolray isn't one of those vehicles. It looks sporty, but it actually has muscle to back up its looks. It's the most powerful crossover in the segment. You'd have to spend over 2 million pesos if you want a faster crossover. According to Geely, it can do 0 to 100 kph in 7.9 seconds. But some tests show that it can do 7.4 to 7.6 seconds, which would make it one of the fastest vehicles of any type at this price bracket. It's fast enough to beat a Civic SIR. If you don't know what a Civic SIR is, it's a sports sedan that has a cult following among Honda enthusiasts. And there's a video somewhere on the internet where it gets beaten by a stock Geely Coolray. Another reason, and I think this might be debatable because I haven't actually done a scientific survey on this, I think Geely is becoming a cooler brand. Now I base this on a couple of reasons. One, I'm getting a lot of feedback from people who aren't usually into cars. I get questions about Geely from neighbors and from friends of friends. I've also seen people who could afford more expensive cars considering buying a Geely. And I also base this on my own personal perception of the brand. While they do sell affordable vehicles, I don't see affordability as its main selling factor. I think Geely is becoming synonymous with quality. I think this is partly because of their partnership with Volvo, but also partly because of their carefully selected vehicles in the country. They currently only have 3 vehicles, but every single one of them is outstanding. And because of that, people tend to have certain expectations. Like when the Geely Okavango was launched, I expected Geely quality from it, and I wasn't disappointed. I think if they keep this up, they're going to outpace a lot of Japanese brands in terms of brand image. I think Geely's vehicles are very well spec'd for their target demographics. For the bachelor or bachelorette who want a sporty, an exciting, and a youthful looking ride, there's the Geely Coolray. For the family man who values space and seating capacity, there's the Geely Okavango. And for those who are looking for affordable luxury, there is the Geely Escara. Their lineup is not just a matter of small, medium, and large, or expensive, not so expensive and cheap. The models are priced close to each other, but they're tailor-made for different demographics. So yeah, if you're a 20-something bachelor or bachelorette, you probably don't care about rear aircon vents, or third-row seats, or luxurious touches like wood panels or chrome. You'd probably want something that's exciting, something that's fast, something that looks youthful, and something that has plenty of tech. And that's what the Geely Coolray is. It's a very well targeted crossover. And the final reason is that it's just a good product. It's been 2 years now since the Coolray was launched, and so far I've heard very few complaints about it. Every owner seems to be quite happy with their purchase, at least based on the online groups for the Coolray. When the consumers are happy, word spreads quickly, and they convinced their friends and family to buy the same product.